Chris Mortensen is with us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You see him on ESPN. The draft is 8 days away. Mort, are you excited about the 8 day away draft now?
I'm always excited about the draft. It's 8 days away. Listen, the draft actually has been something I've always liked, and it was even going back before I covered the NFL. I enjoyed the draft. So, because I was a college football fan and a pro football fan, and it just allows you to kind of like, okay, it's kind of like here they're intersecting on this these 3 days, and going forward, it'll be we'll see who's got the stuff and who doesn't have the stuff.
How many teams? Who is that first team? Do you believe will reach for a quarterback? Because I know there's a lot of people that don't believe. Maybe some people would say Malik Willis, but a lot of people don't believe there is that franchise quarterback. But we all know that people reach for quarterbacks. Who do you think the first team is to reach for a quarterback in this draft?
Yes, I agree. Based on people I talked to, there is no top 10 quarterback. There's probably no top 15 quarterback. Kenny Pickett is a guy who's got a lot of reps, a lot of starts. He has better physical skills than, say, Desmond Ridder of Cincinnati, who seems to be got a lot of buzz going for him. You know, Desmond's arm just doesn't measure up. But Pickett, and then the other draft would be maybe a second-round pick. And do I think he's better than Sam Darnold with Carolina picking at 6? No, I don't. But Sam Darnold's on a one-year contract, and so Carolina at 6 is what we're looking for. And will it be Malik Willis, which means, Malik Willis is going to be a guy that you have to have a specific plan for, and he has got to, it's going to be a projection because he played at Liberty, didn't get the most out of his Auburn career, as we all know. But, man, he's got some unique skill sets, just aren't ready. You got to do it. Atlanta, I don't think they're going to take Malik Willis, but he makes sense because they got Marcus Mariota, their head coach, Arthur Smith. That offense you can kind of do some of the same things with Malik Willis, as you are with Mariota. And Mariota's a guy who really has a history of not staying healthy for a full season. So I think that those would be the two that you're looking at. But the problem with Carolina at 6 is that they don't have a second or third round draft pick. And so you're basically saying, we're going forward like just as it is.
Mm. I'm interested, Mort. Jameson Williams, only 1 year here in Alabama, but he wowed everybody. Had that injury in the championship game. Has that impacted him at all? And where do you think Jameson ends up going? First round, early first round, late first round? Your thoughts?
Well, I think he's going early first round. Now, what is defined early? Last week, hearing that he could go as early as number 10. And now the issues there a little bit are, first of all, at the Indianapolis Combine medical rechecks, he's doing well. It was a good surgery that he had, and he's rehabbing well. The concern about Jameson is he is pushing it, and the opinion of some teams, he's pushing a little bit too hard. He needs to be careful. This idea that we have these miracle or it's faster rehab and you're ready in 7 or 8 months, it's not something that a lot of doctors will truly endorse. But listen, by October, maybe November, he is going to be probably closer to himself. And if you're a team that is patient, you got a guy that is unlike anybody else in this draft. You cannot buy speed and that type of explosiveness. And we know, listen, he plays special teams. He was a gunner. I'm just saying in terms of mentality. But if he doesn't go in the top 10, and I'm thinking more like 10, whether it's the Jets or a trade, then I believe he will be gone before 20.
ESPN's Chris Mortensen with us at Mort Report. He is on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I don't know that Aaron Rodgers and I have very much in common, but I bet we have this in common. I'm wondering who he's going to throw to. I bet he's wondering the same. They have 2 first-round picks. don't they have to address receiver at least with one of those, Mort?
No, they
Okay.
do not. I think they will. I don't think you have to, because in this draft, you can get quality starting type starters in the second, third, and fourth round. And some will even tell you fifth round. So I don't think they have to, but I think they probably will with one of those picks. And who knows, maybe both of them. And who's that going to be? I mean, so, when there are certain quarterbacks, and Aaron Rodgers would be one of them, who's just going to make his receivers better. Now, they're still rookies, no matter who comes in. But yeah, I'll be anxious to see what they do there. Whether it's the North Dakota State kid, Watkins, whether it's Traylon Burks of Arkansas, although I think Philadelphia might have an eye on him, and a couple others. Is it Alec Pierce, Cincinnati? May surprise some people, and we'll have to see who slides. But I think that there's just so many good receivers who were not. Listen, there's nobody who's Julio Jones or AJ Green in this draft. There's nobody who's close to Jamar Chase, and even like Jameson Williams. When you look at those guys, they're not what you project as number one receivers. But if you have a good receiving core, you have somebody who can take the top off, it's going to make everybody better, and you have the element there. But it doesn't necessarily make them a number one receiver. And I think that Aaron Rodgers is such a precise quarterback that he's going to do well with anybody. Anybody of high quality, absolutely. But Packer fans and everybody else will go nuts if they don't take a receiver. So I'm kind of hoping they don't take a receiver.
I think we all are. Hey, Mort, it's normally hard to be fascinated by an average quarterback, but Baker Mayfield, this situation is fascinating to me, where this thing ends up, how it ends up playing out. Ultimately, where do you think Baker Mayfield ends up?
I'm going to say an average good quarterback, okay? Because Baker Mayfield as a rookie threw more touchdown passes than any rookie in NFL history. And once they made the change, coach, and people can argue that, he was really good, and they were highly competitive. In his third year, he took that team to the brink of beating the Chiefs in the playoffs. I mean, they were in the playoffs and could have advanced. Last year, he had no business playing with his shoulder issues and broke. He was injured. That's a mentality. I think he's got limitations. He never was going to be Josh Allen, and I'm still mad at all the people who tried to knock Josh Allen. And I was on him from the start, and I'm not afraid to say because it's on record. But Baker Mayfield, you asked the question. I think Seattle's a good spot for him. Now, they're going to re-sign Geno Smith, and they did want Drew Lock in that trade. But I also know there's a connection there among the old Packer personnel guys. And John Dorsey was in Cleveland. He's one of those Packer guys. When they selected Baker Mayfield, Seattle liked him. And but Seattle will not trade for him with that salary. So I'm basically saying I think Seattle, but we'll see where else he lands. And I do think he's an average. He's not an average quarterback, but he's an average good quarterback.
Jimmy G has a great, not a great record, but he has had success and gotten teams deep into the playoffs. Is he going to be a 49er next year, or are you still expecting him to be moved at some point?
Well, I don't believe he has gotten teams deep into the playoffs. I believe he was a quarterback on a team coached by Kyle Shanahan that's gotten deep. So I would rather have. And listen, the great thing about Jimmy is everybody loves him in terms of his person, the person, Jimmy Garoppolo. Baker Mayfield to me is a better quarterback.
Wow.
So therefore, Jimmy's he's not in camp. He's getting rehab. They're committed to doing Trey Lance. Do I think there's regret over not taking Mac Jones, which is what they absolutely 100% intended to do when they made the trade? There was a backlash among the 49er fan base, and the personnel department kind of wanted Trey Lance, and I do believe they regret not taking Mac Jones. That being said, they're committed to Trey Lance, in my opinion, and if they can't move Jimmy Garoppolo and they're willing to pay his salary, then he could be there. I mean, there's not a big market demand for Jimmy Garoppolo.
All All right, he is Chris Mortensen. The draft, day one at least, is 8 days away, and he's fired up. You should be as well. Follow him at More Report and see his coverage on ESPN. Chris, we thank you for the time as always.
Thank you, guys. Hope we talk to you.
You got it, man. Take care. More with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.